Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're getting this. All right, let's get right into this information I have for you guys today. So yesterday we recorded and we were looking at the markets. Okay, right here we were talking about the hot inflation data. Okay, if you guys haven't seen this yet, go check it out. But basically, right when we posted this video, markets were starting to go up. But in my mind, I thought this was a fake out, and as we can see here, it was, and we stated that, okay, because of the inflation data. So you guys have to be aware of what's happening in these markets. It's not just crypto. It has to do with oil, Iran, war, crazy stuff, okay? So just be aware of that, right? So first thing I have for you guys today, USDC Circle raises 222 million in ARK pre-sale at 3 BDFDV. I think this is value, basically the value of this private sale. Okay, moving on. So the 2020 signal returns why copper to gold breakout could point to Bitcoin breakout. Okay, so basically you guys can see here, there's a chart, and I always tell you guys precious metals are also very important in this industry now, because AI data centers and things of that nature, the new neo, all these things have to use metals to be built. They're going to use some plastics and other things, but mostly metals like copper, platinum, and things of that nature. We'll cover that in a second. Tokenized treasuries hit 15 billion as Bitcoin stalls. Fed rate rise, concern builds. So basically, we talked about it yesterday about the Fed rate cut and things of that nature. So basically, they're moving into tokenized treasuries. Well, they've been doing it, but basically 15 billion in value has been locked up now. So basically we're moving forward, and they're picking something that's a little bit more stable and gives them more long-term yield, rather than something like Bitcoin that's goes up and down with every move of the wind. Okay, Charles Schwab begins U.S. rollout of spot crypto trading for retail customers. This is big. Charles Schwab moving into retail customer trading. That's big. All of these big companies are doing it. Okay, and that's what the point I'm trying to get across here is that we see all the chaos that's happening around the world, but behind closed doors, they're talking, there's NDAs, there's partnerships happening. And if you're not aware of what's happening, then you're going to get left behind. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and also share it with other people who might enjoy this information. Okay. Nevada regulators push back after prediction market conference blames them for the move. Okay, so Vegas is also doubling down on their prediction markets. We know Vegas is huge for gambling, and what they built, their trillion-dollar industry there, they're not going to let it go easily. Just like the banking sector and the Clarity Act and things that are happening there, they're not. The banks aren't going to let go of their control so easily. Okay, and Vegas isn't either. Moving on. All right, so basically Legend becomes the latest DeFi app to throw in the towel. So we're going to cover down here how a lot of these industries are shutting down their DeFi protocols and things of that nature because they can't keep up with what's happening. Okay, their infrastructure wasn't built for clarity. It wasn't built for the Genius Act. It was built for just the system at the time without the regulation and stuff around it. Okay, and I'm going to cover this a little bit more. We're going to go over here and I'm going to show you guys some of the symbolism that pertains to like blockchain and cryptocurrency and things like that. Flower of life, blockchain. All right, all that coming up next. Alright, so first thing I wanted to bring to you guys' attention was this article right here. So basically ARK pre-sale. So if you guys don't know what ARK is, I believe ARK is going to be a token. It's kind of like XRP, how XRP and Ripple created RLUSD. Circle went the other way. They have the stablecoin first, and then they built ARK. Okay, so basically one of the big things I want to point out here is these big players. Okay, it's highlighted. You guys can read them: BlackRock, Apollo Funds, International Exchange, ARK Investments, SBI. It goes down the line. Okay, so a lot of these people were interested and were part of the private sale. So it happened on Monday, May 11th. So basically it will become public. Maybe they were stating late summer. Okay, May, summer. All right, June, we'll see. Okay, but this is something to keep your eye on. Not financial advice, but when you're seeing these big partners and people come together to buy some of these assets or even private sales, it's something to keep your eye on. Okay, but basically when you go here, let me go back really quick. when you go here to their website, you know, I was looking through it, check it out. It looks pretty dope. You know what I mean? It's built properly. Looks like they put a lot of you know, time into building this. Talks about all the live public testnet and whatnot. So this is a weekly transaction cost. You know what I mean? Not even a cent. But anyways, moving down here, we go to the white paper, of course, our white paper. And this is the symbolism I'm talking about. Like when it comes to a lot of this stuff, it has to do with occult. Even the name like stellar has to do with the galaxy, like XRP with the X and what X represents. You know what I mean? So like, I believe that they cannot build this structure without also following the laws of the universe, the laws of nature and things of that. You know, so this right here just is this. So if you guys don't know what the flower of life is and the seed of life is, do some research and understand that all this symbolism means something. Not just to like the occult, but these people who are building this new infrastructure, they know this. And we covered this yesterday, where it talks about billionaires believe in astrology, millionaires don't. There's a big divide there, and there's a reason for that. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into this. This is information only, so do your own research. Okay. Moving on. So the 2020 signal returns and why copper to gold breakout could point to Bitcoin breakout. So basically, look at this market. If you don't understand what these are or even charts are, take a screenshot of this, throw it in the chat GBT and ask it to tell you what it means. Okay, so it's one of them things where we know the AI bubble is probably still going to boom a little bit more. So investing in some of these like assets, platinum, gold, silver, everything like that, they need these things to build this infrastructure. So why not get ahead of the curve and just maybe invest? I'm not saying throw all your money at it. That's not what I'm saying. Make sure you speak to a professional and understand your own risk tolerance. Okay, but we're moving forward with this infrastructure. As you can see here, tokenized treasury hit 15 billion as Bitcoin stalls. Okay, so tokenized U.S. treasury hit a 15 billion value locked as traders weigh in on higher chances of Federal Reserve rate increase and sought yields outside of spot crypto. So like I said earlier, they're looking for something that's a little bit more stable. I don't think the U.S. market's stable right now, but that's a whole another can of worms. Okay, but basically another thing that's been on the radar is this Trump and Z meeting. I think they already had it, or they're having it now. The summit, this is huge. So Trump is in China with a couple of other major players, so you guys should be paying attention to that as well. Okay, so I think we're going to cover something later with regulation in a bit, but I don't think that this Clarity Act and whatnot's going to really solidify anything for a while. But that's just my own personal opinion. But moving on. Charles Schwab begins U.S. rollout of spot crypto trading for retail customers. So I'm not going to cover this too much. This is basic. Charles Schwab, big company, once again, is moving into crypto for retail traders and customers and stuff. It's one of them things where it's like, we're not going to offer you this stuff until we're able to start taking advantage of it as well. Okay, that's the bottom line here. They could have been offering this a long time ago. But Charles Schwab, the broken giant, manages around 12 trillion in client assets. It begins rolling out spot cryptocurrency trading service for retail customers in the U.S. So 12 trillion being brought onto the market. Not saying blockchain particularly, maybe 1 trillion of that might get added based off how Charles Schwab speaks to their clients and whatnot. Like, hey, this might be something good for you to hold. You know what I mean? It's all up to how Charles Schwab is going to deal with this. Okay, but they're moving on to the chain and giving other people who see, you have to understand, a lot of people who don't know about crypto, didn't know about crypto, were sitting back and waiting for their Charles Schwab or their JP Morgan to let them know, hey, this is probably a good idea. You should do it. We actually, you know, can do this for you now. You know, so it takes time. It takes time. All right. Moving on. So Nevada, once again, when we talk about time, they spent a lot of time building this $1 trillion market. And when it comes to prediction and sports and stuff like that, they are the capital. So it's said down here that they did not, a spokesperson for the Nevada Gaming Control Board said it did not pressure any license or venues to cancel or decline to host events. So basically, the event was at Ari Resort and Casino. for hosting the predicts for 2026, 2025 prior. But basically what happened was they basically moved from Vegas to New York. Okay, to New York from Vegas, because you know New York is a little bit different from Vegas. You know, maybe they got more juice in New York, but neither here nor there. We'll see. My point being is with this is just like the banks were going against, you know, yields and crypto. Same thing with Vegas. They're against the prediction markets, and they want to keep their capital. They want to keep their money. Look at, like, you know how much this was to be built? Billions of dollars, maybe even trillions, to keep it, you know, up to maintenance and fees. On the other hand, you have someone like Kelshi that has global reach and can damn near have anyone be on their platform. And this isn't a building. They don't offer hotels. They don't have no fucking upkeep, right? This is an app. This is code. So it's one of the things where at the end of the day, if Kelshi was to go against Vegas, or any of these prediction apps were to go against Vegas, they would win. Why? Because you have to go to Vegas in order for Vegas to make money. Kelshi, you don't have to go to Kelshi. Kelshi is anywhere. You get me? And this is a new system we're moving into, and there's going to be a divide. There's going to be a button of heads, because it's all about power. It's all about money at the end of the day. You get me? It's all about control. Who controls this new system and infrastructure? All right, moving on. So Legend becomes latest DeFi app to throw in the towel. So basically a lot of these institutions, like, they're done. You know what I mean? We already know who the winners are if you've been paying attention. So they're all like, you know, we're just gonna step back and focus on something else. And we covered this last week, where it was a big company, Corpse, that they dealt with Bitcoin mining, and now they're moving into AI. So we're gonna see these transitions of companies, kind of like the Netscape of the old days, right? But basically, you guys can see here, the product that wins isn't the one that explains crypto better. It's the one that hides it completely, and the benefits are felt, not explained. And that's exactly how our infrastructure works now. I didn't know nothing about finances until I got into crypto. Like, a lot of people don't understand how the infrastructure works now. So when this transition does happen, they're still not going to understand. It's going to be even more, it's going to be harder to understand, because they weren't there in the beginning with the Nostro Vostro accounts and understood how much friction that was for the market to where we're at now. It's kind of like DoorDash. Like, people don't care how DoorDash works as long as they get their food. They don't care how payments are and yields are as long as they get their money. You get me? So it's not someone who's going to explain it better and help them get into it. It's someone who just, listen, we can help you make money, and that's it. What do I have to do? Well, put it into this ETF. Okay, all right, thank you, boo, bye. Let me go on. I got to go to club. I got to go do this. They don't care about this. So this quote is strong. It's very strong. Okay, I have some more information for you guys, but I'm gonna leave it for another video. This is already getting too long. If you guys appreciate the content, you know what to do. I'm out of here. Peace.